The following tutorial is brought to you by WholeLoops.com.
It's production time. I'm Reid Stefan, realist puppet in the game. And today, we're taking a closer look at how to create dynamics and process our drums using SPIFF by oeksound. Now, SPIFF is a very useful plugin that allows you to shape, add, and color the transients of any sound. And naturally, the drums would be the first place that I like to use this on, but there's actually more ways than that you can cut or boost the transients in your mix. Now, if you're not familiar with the SPIFF plugin, it's by the same company that made Soothe. As you could tell, it looks very similar, but it has a very different purpose, where Soothe is for reducing and taking away frequencies that make things sound harsh. This is for adding and enhancing the transients and attack of sounds, or changing where in the EQ spectrum they're emphasized. So that being said, let's jump right into our example song. This is a brand new release by Kara titled Obstacle, and we're here inside the Ableton session where this is produced. Now I really like checking out plugins on a group of drums all at once, but we are going to actually dive in and put this on some individual sounds. But first, let's start out by just listening to the drums group in our beat.
Gotta get away. It's just another obstacle I got to climb. I got to go wasting my time. It used to be the one.
And this is just the default preset. Let's turn SPIFF off.
Just another obstacle I got to climb.
And back on.
Wasting my time. It used to be the one I need.
Now that's a very subtle difference. A lot of you might not have heard that, but we're also not doing very much, as you could see. We're not pushing this up very high, and we're not pushing the depth up very high. But let's try doing something a little bit more extreme and easier to understand so you could see what exactly SPIFF is doing just right off the bat.
It's just another obstacle I got to climb. I got to go wasting my time.
You hear what's jumping out? Those are your transients.
The one I need. Now you're just an obstacle to only. Just another.
And the frequency range in which it's focusing on is determined by what you do here with your different bands. If you really just want some high frequency, you could boost up, or you could not process the high frequencies at all and use this filter and just focus this more on the lower, warmer frequencies of your drums.
It's just another obstacle I got to climb. I got to go wasting my time. It used to be the one I need. Now you're just an obstacle to only.
And a very handy indicator to kind of help you guide and target where the different tones of your drums are these pink lines moving behind where we set up our EQ points. And unlike Soothe, which is completely for reducing a subtractive plugin, this is an additive plugin, at least when you have it in this mode. Later, we're going to be showing you the cut mode. But let's go ahead and show you how we'd actually use this to mix some drums now that we've given you an idea of what exactly we're focusing on here with this plugin. So let's go back into our factory preset. And since we're here on our drums group, let's just give this a solo. And I really want to bring out the high frequency sparkle here in these drums. For group processing, I always find that to be a great way to enhance everything at once. And let's push up the depth. And let's adjust the stereo link. This determines whether or not the left and right ears are being processed the same. And there's a lot of panned drums and stereo information here, and you might not want those to be identically processed. Let's play with the rest of the drums. And the kick's not in this group, but let's just solo it so you hear the whole beat. And let's turn SPIFF off. I'm going to make a loop that goes from here to here. And without it. Push the depth up a little more. An easy, simple way to enhance just the high-end clarity of your entire drums group. And if you really want to leave the rest unprocessed, like I said, you can bypass the lower mids and mids and just focus SPIFF here on the top end. This is not filtering your whole drums group like it would if this were an EQ, as you can see all the bass is still there. This is just telling the plugin what to focus on and what not to focus on. So that's a great way to increase the high-end clarity on any drums group. Let's go ahead and copy this plugin down onto our kick and try doing the opposite here on the low end. And this one is just processing the group of all of our kicks. Now there's two ways you could usually enhance your kick. Is one, do you want to add more click and attack, which would be in the upper mids? And maybe you just want to process the mid and side separately. Let's try adding low-end thump instead. I think this is where SPIFF really shines as a tone shaping plugin. And let's bring the rest of the beat. And without it. Back on. This isn't obviously necessary for every kick drum. This is already a great sounding sample that's going in here. But a lot of times that low end kick thump is what's lacking in your drums. And I love how this gives you the ability to really focus on whether you're trying to enhance the click of your kick or the sub of your kick, all things that SPIFF makes very easy for simple drum shaping adjustments.
Do your drums sound like floppy trash? Have you wasted countless hours trying to get that knocking mix down with no results? Introducing Whole Loops Drum Sauce, the brand new preset that instantly processes your drums group into a clean, organic, and hard-hitting sauce. Whole Loops Drum Sauce is available now for Waves Studio Rack and Ableton stock plugins, only at wholeloops.com.
Now that we've enhanced our high end here in our drums group, the low end here in our kick group, let's go ahead and try SPIFF here in our instruments. I'm going to open up our music group, and the song starts out with some plucks. Let's go to the very, very beginning.
Going through the motions, don't wanna pretend I'm alright. 'Cause I feel so safe when I hide.
So we have all of these string plucks.
But I know it's gonna break my heart to stay. Then you'll tell me that you love me, I believe it. But I just gotta get away.
And I think to enhance these string plucks, I'm going to use SPIFF and add a little bit to the attack of these.
Emotions, don't wanna pretend I'm alright.
And let's just create a big boost up here for the upper mids and the highs.
I feel so safe when I hide. And I know it's gonna hurt a lot to leave.
And let's turn stereo link all the way down.
It's gonna break my heart to stay. Then you'll tell me that you love me, I believe it. But I just gotta get away. It's just emotions, don't wanna pretend I'm alright.
And we don't need to boost any low end on these, so I'm just gonna
so
filter the plugin away.
And I know it's gonna hurt a lot to leave you.
Without.
But I know it's gonna break my heart to stay.
And back
Then
on.
you'll tell me that you love me, I believe it. But I just gotta get away.
And of course, if you wanted to blend in some of that original signal, you have a mix control here to very easily do that. And you can also adjust how sharp or smooth your transients are with these controls right here. I'm going to go and find another instrument that we can use to do some cutting.
It's just another obstacle I got to.
So I think these guitars are a little bit scrapey. They were recorded directly in, and that tends to be a problem that DI guitars suffer from, is having a lot of like pick scraping against the strings, and SPIFF can make that very easy to clean up. So we're just going to drop this here on our group of just guitars, and then I'm going to turn these up a little bit so they're easy to hear. Just playing along with the bass line. So let's put SPIFF into cut mode. And this is going to work a little bit more like Soothe, but focus just on the transients. So let's pull some of that nasty mid-range stuff out of. And let's turn this up. And let's do the stereo link all the way down, because these are both panned left and right. And let's listen to delta mode to see exactly what we're cutting out. And that's exactly the noise that I was trying to get out of here. So let's run with that. And we'll turn SPIFF off. And back on. Turn the loop off. Turn the SPIFF off. Just on the guitars. Back on. So we're able to reduce a lot of the scraping clunkiness that made these direct input guitars sound a little bit smoother as electric guitars. So SPIFF is not just for boosting, as you could see. It did a really great job cutting the muck away from our transients, allowing us to have them sit cleaner with the rest of the synths. So those are some great ways within your mix to use SPIFF. Now, another useful thing that you could use SPIFF for is to reintroduce the dynamics in something. Let's say you get an acapella and it's already compressed, but you want to add a little bit more dynamic and breath and life to the vocal, and kind of uncompress it by introducing more dynamics. So I notice the vocal is resonating a lot down here in this area. And up here at the top. And let's push this up to show you what it's adding. And those are the transients of your vocal. And that might help to kind of complement what these sidechain compressors afterwards are taking away. Just creating a little bit more dynamic that may have been taken away from your vocal. And you can, like I said, mix it in 50%. And let's turn SPIFF off. Back on. So transient shaping is not just a process for drums. As you can see, we found useful ways to process our electric guitars, to reintroduce some dynamics back into our vocals as we put our final mix together, as well as adding a little bit more spice to our entire drums group and some oomph to our kick. So those are my favorite ways to use the SPIFF plugin by oeksound. If you want to learn more about this plugin, I'll put a link to it in the description, and catch you guys next time in another tutorial. Peace out.